Hi, name's Carl. Over the past couple of years, I did a lot of thinking, as most of you probably do. Hopefully, uh, I got a real burning idea, and it's been something that's been with me for a while. But storytelling is that's how people grow. We grew up living in communities, all of us just hanging out, chilling, trying to survive. Uh, and these were like large extended families. Everyone knew one another. Uh, and people came up with their own myths, like young charismatic leaders, well, and old ones. Anybody. Doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. Uh, you had conflicts with people in the tribe, sure. Like maybe somebody wouldn't like your ideas, but every time you put your ideas out there, you were telling a story. You were telling a story based on something that happened to you. You thought about it, and you presented the information to the tribe in a meaningful way. That's the key to growing for people. So you got to have something meaningful, uh, and it's got to be meaningful to you. It doesn't matter what it means to anybody else. It's got to mean something to you. It's got to be your choice. That's the key to being spiritually healthy. And so your life as a human depends on, or your quality of life depends on your ability to share your ideas uh, within a group of people and have those ideas be received and accepted. Um, and So it takes thinking. It's painful. It's painful to create stories. It's painful because stuff happens to you and you're like, ow. It hurts. It hurts at first when some you don't understand something. Like new stuff happens. Like you leave school, you go to a new school, you go to college, you leave college, you go to the world. You got to make decisions. You get fired from your job. You got to make more decisions. You got to think. You got to think about what the right decision is, but you also got to create a story. You got to create your own story. And you got to share that story because the story isn't going to seem very meaningful to you if you don't feel like sharing it. And the only way to know uh, if you really believe in the story is you got to talk to people about it. Uh, you you don't have to talk to everybody about it. You don't. I mean, if it's a great story, I'm sure everybody would like to hear it. But you just gotta find people who you gotta find people who your story, by sharing your story, helps them understand themselves. When you share them your story, share with them your story. So could be anything. It could be something that happened to you that day. Uh, could be you know, you had a problem, got fired from your job. It's a problem. You couldn't get a loan that you needed. You failed a test. Maybe maybe you felt some way about somebody. You felt they were special in your life. You want to let them know. You want to let them know that you wanted to spend time with them. Uh, maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't accept you right away. Maybe they said no. You share this. You share the struggle with somebody, but you don't stop there. First you say like ow, like I had a problem, and then you say but you know what I did. Uh, there's this person I really felt uh, amazing about, and I told them how I felt, and they just kind of dropped it. Like they really acknowledged me. So I mean, what I did was I went and played the drums, and I got better at playing drums. I did, and I walked around and I shared everybody with what makes me happy. What makes me happy is putting my thoughts into words. That's what makes me happy. Just right on the spot. Everybody I come in contact with. Uh, and as you as you teach somebody about what makes you happy, that helps them understand what makes them happy. And before you know it, they're going to start sharing that with you. They're going to start sharing with you what makes them happy, and you're both going to be bringing each other gifts. You're going to have too many gifts to give somebody, because they have too many gifts to give you. And this is what community is. This is what we got to do. This is universal, man. Like we got to take this around the world. Everybody giving each other gifts. Don't have to be big gifts. You don't have to give somebody $1 million. They probably wouldn't even know what to do with $1 million if you gave them $1 million. You give them $1 million, they probably walk away laughing, you know. They'd be like, some idiot just gave me $1 million. You know, like now I'm gonna go do it, unless they're kind. Unless they're a kind person, you know, they might be really appreciative. I'm making an assumption. I don't really know how they react, but still, you know, it's abstract. If you give someone $1 million, they don't know, you know, they can do anything with it. But you give somebody a gift, like you write on a note to somebody, I think you're an attractive person, or you don't even write on a note. You can just tell them to their face, like, I think you're a beautiful person. I want to spend time with you. You know, like. That is a little bit of a gift, you know, because even if that person doesn't want to spend time with you, it could be for any reason, you know. They don't have to tell you, but you know, like it could just be that they got an obligation. They can't spend time with you, but they'll appreciate that, you know. They'll appreciate that you really expressed yourself and told them how you felt. And you know, if you start a conversation with somebody, they might even let you know what they like. You know, you start talking to somebody and they say, "Oh man, you know, like you know, I really love, you know, Jimmy John's. I really love chocolate, or whatever. You know, they like something. Well, you can remember that, and you remember the place you ran into that person, and you know. Maybe you pick something up the next time you're going to be there, and if you see the person, maybe you drop it off. You're like, hey man, like I remember you really like this. I remember you really like chocolate, like dark chocolate. Yeah, it's dark chocolate. Here you go. Like, you know, and just letting that person know that you thought about them. You know, like you weren't around them, you thought about them. Like that's how we make the world a better place. We gotta do it right now. You gotta show up. You gotta show up somewhere. You gotta but first, I mean, you gotta show up with yourself. You gotta show up with yourself by being kind to yourself, paying attention to yourself. So create your story. Be present. Pay attention to what makes you hurt. You got a problem? Create a story about that problem. And then you got to end that story. And then at the end of that story, you begin another story. And that's what we do. That's what people do. Peace.